All right.
All right. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing?
Hello. Welcome to Our Dinner is Done. Thanks for joining us. If you've been here before, if you haven't, welcome. We've got the chat here. We're gonna get ready. But where we live, it is now the fall, and so the season and the weather has changed, and it is the time of the year where you're gonna see lots of the winter. They're actually winter vegetables, but they come out during this time of the year, during the fall, during the autumn. So we have some different types of squash tonight that we're going to be using in a recipe. We're going to be making an autumn harvest bowl. So it's just kind of like a bunch of good stuff all mixed together.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really yummy. So we have two different types of squash. And we've got butternut squash here. And we have delicata squash here. I actually had to toss one of the ones that we were going to use today. Little one, he got a little mushy, and I think that was actually called a dumpling, a little dumpling squash.
It was really cute. We bought it purely for the name.
Yeah, it was really adorable, but it ended up just not working out, so, oh well. So we've got these two instead, and we're gonna roast these up.
Not like it today.
It was fine where it was.
Yeah?
No, well, now you moved it. It was fine where it was. There you go. So we have some red onion we're going to be using, some butternut squash, some delicata squash, some kale, and we're going to be using some quick cooking couscous. So I'm going to get out the can. Dumplings too. Dumplings are delicious, but these happen to be called, they were these really cute little squash called little dumplings, but they actually looked a little bit like an acorn squash. And I don't think we've ever made them before though, actually.
No,
so
that's why we got them. They were cute.
Okay. I think we're good to go. Sorry for the technical difficulties. There we go. Yeah, you got to go by that picture there.
It was all tilted. It had gone down, but whatever.
Good. Okay, so we're going to get started. So we have our butternut squash, but the first thing that we're going to do, though, is you're going to pickle some onions. Yeah. So we're going to pickle these red onions. We're not going to cook these down. We're going to pickle them because this bowl is actually a little bit, basically like a salad in a way.
It's a play on kava.
On kava. So, yeah, for people who live in the States, kava is a restaurant where you could make your own bowls. And you could use salad, grains, different types of veggies, different types of meat, different toppings. So that's what we're going to be kind of doing tonight. So we're going to pickle the onions first. That's the first thing that we're going to do because they're going to take a little bit of time to kind of get that quick pickle and that good flavor. And happy Friday to you too, everyone. And then we're going to prepare the squash. And the squash we will roast in the oven. What would you like the oven to be set to?
425? That's a good
425.
number.
Okay.
So just going to slice up this red onion. I should use my nemesis, the mandolin. That's what I normally use when I do this.
Do you think you want to? I mean, we have the guard.
We have the guard. So I always use it.
All right, so if you joined us last time, you heard about the story with the mandolin, and we warned you, if you're going to use a mandolin, make sure that you use the guard. So he is going to use one tonight. He's going to be brave and use it, but he will use the guard to be safe. We don't want another mishap. Just makes the slicing a little bit easier.
It does, and it's just a more consistent, thin slice. So like on a chop, you'll see people just use it freely, which is what I did exactly. And that's why it's got the little caution sign. You can see it. There's a little caution sign right there. That's why, because it's super sharp to the touch.
Please don't cut yourself. Are you going to use this one, or do you want the smaller?
Either one.
Because this one I was thinking of the couscous, so do you need the smaller one for them?
Then yeah, I'll need the smaller one. So I just sliced the end of the onion, and I'm going to just peel the skin off. Get ready to go into our mandolin. So it has the guard where it'll actually hold on to the onion for you. There's lots right in there. Place the guard on.
Perfect.
And then it has the different settings on it. We're going to go for the thinnest, so that'll be a 1. And slice it.
Much better.
Whoa.
Yeah, so then the cuts are like much more even. It's just faster.
Go. Those onions sliced. Throw these in there.
There we go.
At the other end. Still tear up with this.
That's right, Icelandic. Yep, so that's why he's using the guard tonight. He doesn't want to end up in the hospital again.
Not again. Not with the nurses gawking over my stupidity.
Alright. So that's a good amount of onions. This is really more, well, I don't want to call it a garnish because it's not a garnish. It gives everything a nice flavor, but this isn't going to be like the main star of the dish, but pickled. I don't actually eat red onions on their own. A lot of people like to have them raw, but I think they're a little bit too strong that way. That's just my preference, but when we pickle them, I like them a lot more. And they add a nice bite to a salad, or we use them when we made sloppy joes recently. We topped topped those with them, and they were really, really yummy. So you can see here our onions, and we're just going to make the pickling liquid right here on the stove. Clean up as you go.
Right.
Okay.
Grab our white vinegar.
Nope, Nick, we're safe. We're safe.
A cup of white vinegar. Cut that with a little water.
Sorry, we have a filtration system on our water, so sometimes it takes a little to get it ready to go. You can see our pups. Say hello to them. Meatball back there, and rigatoni.
Season this up with a little pepper, a little garlic, a touch of sugar.
Yep, so what he did so far was the white vinegar and a little bit of water, some sugar, and you also put garlic powder, right?
Yep.
All right, so now that's the pickling liquid, and you're just going to bring it up to a boil, and then add it on top of the onions.
Yep.
So that's just going to get boiling here. So while that happens, we can start preparing the squash.
Yeah, because that's going to take a little bit as well.
Yeah. We have our oven here. It's preheated to 425. We'll start with the butternut squash. He's going to show you how to prep and cut this. This, again, is totally him. I don't touch this. I would mess it up. He's much better at this than I am. And if we don't want to end up in the hospital, I'm going to leave it to him and not to me.
So pretty straightforward. You can go at it a couple ways. You could use your knife the whole time. I prefer to use a peeler. I just find that that's easier. So I'm actually going to start by just peeling the outside of the squash first. I use a Y peeler. You could also just use your traditional potato peeler. I've just always liked this from years of bartending.
Yeah, and Nick, you had asked if quinoa was too grainy to replace the couscous. You know what? No, I don't think so. I think you could totally use
Absolutely.
quinoa. In fact, when we usually get these bowls at Cava, they usually have like the the choice where you could use it over brown rice. So you could do brown rice, you could do quinoa, you could do the couscous. We just happened to get some couscous recently, and we thought this would be a
perfect
fun
way to use it.
dish to use it in. But I'm sure you could use quinoa instead. Right, so yeah, on the butternut squash, you're going to want to peel the skin off, but on the other squash that we're going to be using, the delicata squash, you don't have to do that. You could eat the entire outer layer. It's edible. Anybody else like squash? If you do like squash, what type of squash do you like to make at home? That's a good idea, Nick. So black rice too. I'm a big fan of rice. I would use any rice.
Black rice?
Yeah.
Black rice.
Well, you're not a big fan of like wild rice.
No, I don't like the texture.
Yeah, he doesn't really like the texture that so much, but you could certainly, you could do whatever you want with this. It's like we said, it's one of those kind of like build your own bowl type of ideas. And since we have these squash on hand, we thought it would be fun. And this meal tonight is vegetarian. So. Awesome.
All right, we can scoop out the insides of this.
Yep, you can see the inside there. That's where like the pulp and the seed are.
So it's kind of, I mean, it's in like a pumpkin. They're all in the same family. So just going to scoop out the seed and the veiny part.
He usually just does that with a spoon. This is starting to bubble up, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time to really get boiling, and then we'll throw it on top of the onions. And we're going to put the onions in the fridge, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could leave them out, but I want to bring the temperature down, so.
Okay. Yeah, so normally when you pickle something, you're going to want to kind of do it in advance, but we wanted to show you how to do it. And it really doesn't take too long for these to cool down, so while we're making everything else, once we top these onions with this pickling liquid, we'll throw them in the fridge, and they'll be cool by the time we're ready to plate and eat. So now it's just cutting off the stem part of the squash. Oh, hi, Babs. And hi, baby. On your walk.
All right.
Okay. Yep, this is ready to go.
So pickling liquid is ready.
So that's just going to go right on top of the onions.
Let's say it's just a little bit cloudy more than anything else. Just pour it right on top of your onions.
You'll give everything like a nice big stir. Make sure everything's kind of covered up. I'm going to give it a moment before we put it in the fridge, let it cool down just a little bit. It's going to be really hot right now. And then we'll just cover it up with a lid and throw it in the fridge when we're ready to do that. And it'll give them a nice little seasoned kind of flavor. And it kind of like cooks them down. It makes them a little less pungent.
Yeah, I love pickled red onions. I think they're just delicious.
Yeah, me too. I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not really a fan of them raw. I know people like to have them raw on top of burgers and on top of sandwiches and things like that, but I feel like this way they taste a little bit better. And for something like this, it's going to be kind of a little bit more like Mediterranean style.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's going to be yummy.
All right, so let's dice up this squash. So really no right or wrong way to do this. I'm going to cut it in slices and then cut those slices down a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, the thing you always want to make sure of is that the slices are equal.
Yeah. And normally, too, like with something like this, you're going to kind of just want little bite-sized pieces. But really, whatever shape you like is fine, too.
So I end up with these crescents. I'm actually just going to slice those in half. And then I can start cubing them up.
Yeah. Butternut squash is really versatile. You use it in soups.
Nice cube sizes.
Yeah, they look like they almost look like little sweet potatoes when you start cutting them up like that. But they are really tasty. Put them in soups, different types of stews. You could put them in pasta dishes like this. We like to just put them with some other fall vegetables and throw them on a sheet pan and roast them up and just have that as a side dish too. They're really,
we
really
do that
yummy.
probably the most often.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get down to the opposite ends, or towards the middle, you're going to get the full-on C's, these crescents, and then you'll just slice those around.
what he's doing now is he's putting everything into a bowl because he's going to season them up and coat them with some olive oil and some seasonings before we throw them on the sheet pan to roast them up. I'm trying to think. Did we ever make? We did make a butternut squash soup last year, didn't we?
We did. We did it with the crab meat.
Oh, that's right. We did. We used some crab meat that we had gotten, and that did come out really tasty. We almost made like a butternut
It was almost
bisque.
like a bisque. Yeah.
And that
I don't
was
think
just,
I added any cream. I think it just naturally got sort of thick.
I don't remember either. It was something we did kind of on a whim on a cold day, and it was like towards the end of the winter squash kind of season, and we had them, and we wanted to use them up, and we decided, all right, let's make a soup.
Yeah, it is soup season, so we made a nice one the other night.
We did.
Very impromptu. It worked out well.
Yeah, but it worked out well. You saw that on our Instagram. We made one with some chicken sausage that we had. We don't make a whole lot of soup, but recently, I guess within the last year or so, we decided, okay, we're going to try to...
Once we got that Dutch oven, we started making more.
Yeah, we decided to kind of play around with it a little bit. A lot of the food that we make at home is just based on what we have in our fridge or in our pantry, and that we just kind of want to use up and not waste. So we go, okay, what's going to taste good together? And that's kind of what this is tonight. We just decided, all right, let's use up the squash that we have sitting on our counter and get going. And it looks like a whole lot in that bowl, but really once you...
It's going to cook down.
It's going to cook down, yeah. So once we cut up the other one and season them all up, then we'll throw them on the sheet pans.
Is this washed?
I think it was. But let's give it a quick rinse. I'm pretty sure that I washed it when it came in. But the delicata squash is the one where you could eat the rind. And so he's going to show you how to cut that up. And a lot of the time when you see this being prepared, they kind of leave it in those half moon shapes.
Yeah, just because it's really gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So it has that sort of gourd type look, very fall, very seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to slice it open in half so that I can seed it.
Take the seeds out. Yeah, you still want to do that. The skin is edible, but you want to take the seeds out. And with most of the squash and pumpkins and things like that, you can remove the seeds, clean them up, toast them, and you can eat them.
You can eat them, yeah.
We've never actually done that though. Not prepared them.
No, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, we haven't done that.
For not much. I mean, it's not a huge seed. So
yeah, well, something like this has tiny seeds. The butternut seeds are a little bit bigger. Obviously, pumpkin seeds are nice and big. And with different pumpkins, they have different seeds. In the recipe that we have up there, or the ingredient list that we have up there, we had pepitas on the list. We couldn't find those at the store, but if you can, those are really, really tasty. They're a type of pumpkin seed. But tonight we have sunflower seeds that we're going to throw on. Just give it a nice little crunch. I think any type of seed that you like would work with this. Get those out. And I'm sure, too, we're going to use feta cheese on this tonight because we're making it a little bit like Mediterranean style. But
and we have that gigantic block.
We have a huge block. Yeah, we have a huge block in the fridge that we need to use up. But I'm sure if you wanted to use a different type of cheese, you could. Like something like goat would probably pair well with squash. I love a good goat cheese.
So just cutting the stems off.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to have these nice half moons. Probably actually just going to cut them down.
Yeah, maybe cut them down.
So that everyone's the same size.
Cook evenly that way.
So yeah, that's how I was saying. You'd often see them cooked up just like this, so that it's a nice half moon. You have the nice skin.
Those nice ridges.
They look gorgeous, but if it's going into like a salad, you don't want a big hunk of squash. So we're going to cut them up.
Just for this presentation. I think that, you know what, I honestly, I was just thinking too, I don't know if we've ever made couscous here.
Definitely not.
I don't think we ever have. It's something that we eat, we've eaten before, we've eaten out, but I don't think we've ever bought it before. And so recently with our Misfit Market Box,
I saw it and I was like, yeah, let's go for it.
We ordered it, it was one of the options, and we decided, okay, let's go for it. This one is actually a quick cook one, so all you really do is add some boiling water to it.
And we bought pancake mix and granola that's the same brand.
Yeah, from that brand.
Bob's Red Mill.
Red Mill. And we like the granola and the oatmeal, so we decided let's try this. But what we were were saying earlier is that you could certainly put any of these toppings over, you know, something that you choose. So rice, salad, the couscous, quinoa, maybe even something like barley. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any of those types of grains would work. And I was thinking, what do you think? Do you want to do the kale? Do you want to leave the kale in its raw form, or do you want to wilk it down?
I think we should do it raw.
So do I. That's what I was thinking too. Because you could obviously saute up the kale, but I think with this meal, I think it would be better to
It's
kind of
kinda
have
like
it more
a-
like a salad.
Like a green and grain bowl.
Yeah. Right? These onions look like I could probably pick them up now. Yeah. Okay. And that lid, I'll put these in the fridge. Let these kind of cool down. Warm, but yeah, not hot. I don't want to burn myself. Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
All diced up.
Yeah, and you can see how beautiful they are. Really great colors in here. We've got some orange and some yellow. This is the time of the year where, I mean, vegetables are always super pretty, and they always tell you to eat really colorful foods that aren't artificial and processed. You want to stick with these colorful fruits and vegetables because they're so good for you, but these are also really tasty too. And squash has a pretty mild flavor.
Yeah.
Most of them, so they're, you know, they work with a lot of different types of recipes. But what he's just going to do is really simply coat them in olive oil, salt, pepper.
Generously with the olive oil.
And you also add some paprika, right, and garlic powder.
Yeah, that's how I normally do it. You had seen that recipe that had like
They had some,
cumin and all that.
yeah, there was a recipe that I had seen online where I kind of got inspired for this dish. But they had some other seasonings on there, like cumin and I think coriander, that we don't actually have on hand right now. So we're just gonna. Oh, we have some cumin. Oh, you got it today. I'm sorry, I forgot. He went to the store today. I didn't realize that he bought it. So we're gonna throw a little cumin in there too. Kind of warm up the seasoning, and the flavor there. So that looks good.
Or should we tell the story about the time we got hot hungry
Oh my
in
god!
paprika?
Wait, wasn't that from Nick's mom?
Oh, it could have been
I think-
for a paprikash.
I think that it
Is that where we
was.
got
I
it?
feel like that's where we got it from. Right? I don't know, Nick. Take a look at that. Does it look like something that your mom uses? Because I'm pretty sure either she gave it to us or she
Super
told us about it and we ordered that
Hot paprika.
and it is like crazy hot.
Crazy hot.
Way hotter than a typical paprika. Oh yeah, he said yes. So yeah, then you would know it's very, very hot. And we didn't realize, we just thought it was like our standard
So for
paprika.
all of this ingredient, if I'm gonna put any in here, like we'll put a touch.
We'll put a touch, yeah, but you're a little sprinkle.
That's the four. That's the wrong side.
Don't use that side.
So for all of this, I'm actually just gonna go 1, 2, and that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And I like the spice, but it's got a
He
lot
said
of
she was trying to sabotage us. Oh man, I don't remember what we made with it. Was it just
but
roasted
we
vegetables?
could barely eat it.
We were like, whoa, what did we use? But anyway, regular paprika we use on a lot to season up. So nice. Oh, that smells great. We're gonna add a little bit of cumin there. So season this up with the things that you like, the flavors that you like. But I think that this is kind of a nice mix that we have going on. A little garlic powder, salt, pepper, paprika, a little cumin.
A touch of cinnamon, like it.
Oh, and yeah, and that recipe that we saw was a little bit of cinnamon, so that's going to just bring out the sweetness of the squash too. So I think we're good to go. And we're going to coat that up really well with, you already put the oil.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, you want a big spoon?
Yeah, it's just easier. And just give it a nice stir.
All
That
right.
smells wonderful.
It really
Cinnamon
does.
Actually, was a nice touch.
It does. It sweetened it up. It has a really nice smell in here right now. So when that's baking in the oven, it's gonna like be very fragrant, fragrant in the house. It smells good already.
Because that cinnamon is really, it's the taste of the fall.
It is. It
The
is.
fall winter vegetable.
So this is gonna take a little while to kind of heat up.
It is.
And we don't really have a whole lot left of doing in terms of like preparing the other stuff. But while we have this in the oven, we're gonna show you just like how to cut and wash the kale.
That paprika, 2 dashes. You got me.
You probably should have just done one.
Probably
Maybe
should
add
have
a little bit more cinnamon.
Oh yeah. No, cinnamon's gonna actually have a little bit of bite to it as well. So I'm gonna avoid that.
Well, maybe the pickled onions
will mellow us out.
Yeah, mellow it out a little bit. But all right, so we have our tray here.
So you always want to taste as you're going, so you can just taste your spoon. It's good.
Wait, let me get a little.
Yeah.
It is really good.
And that'll let you know how it's going to be coated up.
Oh, yummy. It's delicious. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of heat. And I also obviously love the garlic powder for obvious reasons.
Boom. There you go.
Awesome.
There's no magic to how they're spaced out. Just kind of give them a little shake.
Make sure they're kind of evenly spread out. And we're going to throw them in the oven. Like we said, this is 425 right now. And then what do you want to do? Check them at about 15?
Yeah, it's 15.
We'll check them at about 15 and make sure we'll give them like a good stir and make sure that they don't burn on the bottom. What do you think? Middle rack or move that up?
Middle over.
Okay. All right, that's in. The timer, we're going to set that for 15 and then we'll check on them in a little bit. I was reading, so I had gotten this idea yesterday because of what we had sitting on top of our kitchen counter, and I was thinking, okay, we're going to use up some of this squash. What kind of recipe can we go for? And I had looked up some different squash recipes, and I had seen one online that had the couscous and the squash like this with some feta, so it gave me the idea. We have all this stuff here, so let's do this. And in one of the recipes, it had suggested using chickpeas too to add a little bit more like a hardiness to it. So you could throw in a chickpea or maybe a different type of bean if you want with this as well. Okay. Thank you. I will do that right now. So I'm adding some moderators to our chat. So we'll have Evie and Mark.
Moderator?
Yeah, they could moderate the chat, make sure that it is family friendly.
Family friendly, you gotta watch out for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, next thing's next. So, what I didn't realize is that this couscous that we have is like a quick cook one. So, I'm going to wait on that. I'm not going to do that right now. The next thing that we're going to do is actually Judy's doing a little bit of cleaning up to kind of clean as we go to make sure that we don't have a big mess at the end and have to clean everything up when baby is ready to eat a little bit later on. But we are going to use some of that kale. So when you're finished there, he's just going to rinse off that kale. You always want to make sure that you rinse kale pretty well, or any of the leafy greens that you get. This is organic, but you still want to do that anyway.
More organic, the more likely you're to find a little critter.
That's exactly right. The more organic it is, you might find a little buggy friend. Didn't we find something recently?
Like a caterpillar or something.
Yeah, we found a caterpillar or something in it. And I don't know if any of you watch Amy Schumer Learns to Cook on the Food Network, but they found that little caterpillar too while they were cooking. That's a good show if you haven't seen it. Very funny. Oh, hey, Mom. Yeah, keep her in line, Kiwi. He said he's keeping your mom in line.
God knows what she's going to say.
All right.
Kale it up.
Let's kale it up now. I wish you could see. I can't really move the camera right now, but I wish you could see. Whenever we are cooking or doing the dishes or cleaning or pretty much anything in our house, we have 3 dogs. So you are most likely going to have a dog at your feet. And right now, as Jimmy is standing at the sink, our dog Meatball is laying at his feet and is Yes, it is an accident waiting to happen one of these days. So, all right. So I'm gonna watch. Whoa.
Crazy one before too.
Sorry, everybody. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty with our camera here. Sometimes it just doesn't want to stay set.
I think we should just tape it.
Right? We could. That's better, right? Okay. So, yeah, hopefully that doesn't fall over on us. But now he's going to show you how to make the kale. I always like what he does with his fingers when he
when you pull it.
Yeah, when you pull it off and make sure that you get this kind of like center stem out.
Yeah, it's just too fibrous.
Yeah, you don't want to eat that part.
This is, this kale's on its last leg. I'm going to be quite honest. It's,
well, that's why I wanted to use it.
Yeah, that's why we had to use it today. You can like rip it off a little bit smoother when it's
a little crispier,
a little bit fresher.
Yeah,
this will work.
Do you think we should saute it, or it's okay to eat like this?
No.
Okay.
No, it'll work.
Okay, cool.
It still has enough crunch to it. Just not.
Yeah,
as
you can
much
actually hear the crunch, but yeah, when you first bring it home, it's always like it has a nice, really nice bite to it. But this is where our recipe idea came from. Looked inside the fridge, looked on our countertop.
That's where most of our ideas come from. What do we have left to get rid of?
It's true. That's usually how we go. What did we make? Oh yeah, so like we were saying the other day with that soup that we made, we just kind of threw some things that we had out and put them together. That's something that we would like to make on here one night too, is to show you how we made that soup.
Yeah,
that actually came out really, really well.
Best soup I've ever made.
It was the best soup that you ever made. It came out really well, and we put a photo of it on our Instagram, or a little video on our Instagram, but we did not post the recipe. So whenever we do
I have to figure out what I put in it.
Yeah, we have to think back to what we did.
I totally just
type it out, and we'll post it. Really? Do you like to eat the stem, Kiwi? Are you talking about the kale? No, she's not outside of New Jersey. She's outside with MJ. Oh, all right. I was going to say, I don't know if you could even really eat that. Can you chew on it?
It's not really good.
He said he was being an idiot. I don't think that
I
would
really enjoy that.
I am going to interrupt and say that I'm standing next to the oven. It smells really good right now because now everything's starting to bake up. Why don't you spit that out? Yeah. Not good. Anyway, but what is good is this smell coming from the oven. It's really, really delicious right now. Okay. Yeah, so this looks good. So tell us, while this is going on, since there isn't a whole lot of cooking really in this dish other than the squash. Yeah, no, I know that's cooking, but I mean, other than like some of the other meals that we make that have a little bit more prep, what do you like to make with some of the ingredients here that we're using tonight? What kind of route would you have gone if you had some squash at home? What would you make with squash? What would you make with kale? Let us know. And I prefer the kale like chopped up really, really small.
Very fun.
And he knows me too well, so he likes
Super
to bunch
easy.
it up.
Bunch it up. Kind of roll it in a way. It's not really that roll. And then just slice it one way. And then just come back along the other way. And you get a nice fine chop. The finer the better. We make a lot of coleslaw out of kale.
Out of kale, yeah. Coleslaw is
Really nice.
wonderful with
Kale and some cabbage.
Yeah, and some cabbage. You made some the other night that was really tasty. That's again something else that we could make for you and show you how to make. I like
So easy. Coleslaw's
vinegar.
So easy.
Yeah, a vinegar.
Yeah, we
based
don't do the
coleslaw.
mayo base. We do the vinegar based coleslaws.
Not a big fan of mayo in this house. So.
I like mayo.
He likes mayo. But he
make the spicy mayo. That's always.
Oh
good.
yeah, when he makes the spicy mayo, I love that. But I'm not a big fan of just plain
Just
old
plain
mayo.
Or Miracle Whip.
Ugh.
My dad used to love Miracle Whip.
No Miracle Whip.
It's not actually mayonnaise. It's what does it say on it? I think it's a salad dressing.
It's a dressing. That's what it
which
is.
Really odd.
Yeah, Miracle.
But I guess
Whip
you make a dressing out of it. Like what do you turn? What does it turn into ranch?
No, I guess that what it is itself is dressing. Is considered a dressing.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really like the flavor of that. Does anybody like Miracle Whip in here?
Miracle Whip's kind of like I don't know, Country Crock-esque.
I
Country
guess.
Crock's not butter. I
Well,
don't know.
but Country Crock isn't it margarine or is it not margarine?
I don't know. Is it margarine?
I
It's
don't-
Country Crock. It's its own thing.
I don't know. I feel like we're not so knowledgeable on these condiments.
I don't know. They're kind of random. Huh? They're like
We
No,
don't
your
really use
typical
them. We don't really use them.
No.
Yeah, we don't buy Miracle.
growing up. We used to always have Country Crock on the table.
Don't they make their own potatoes?
They do.
I think you can get country crock potatoes that are in like that same tub.
I mean, I can distinctly remember that like grayish tan tub with like a wheelbarrow on it.
Yeah.
Almost reminds it's like Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. Totally.
Diced up kale.
Awesome. Okay, and so since this is already diced up, we have our squash in the oven. We're gonna throw that couscous on kind of like the last minute. The next thing that we're gonna do is kind of we're gonna make the dressing that's gonna go on top of this. So this is basically kind of like a autumn harvest bowl, salad bowl, if you will. So we're gonna make a dressing to go on top that is really simple but very flavorful. He's just gonna show you how he makes this. And again, this is Jimmy's show right now. I made the chili the other day, so I just stand here and talk for now until the couscous is ready to throw on. I really do. Look it up. I really think they make potatoes. I feel like they do.
So we're out of red wine, so we have like a fancy one now. I'm very excited about.
Oh, the red wine vinegar there. Mm-hmm.
Colavita, product of Italy.
Yeah, they make olive oil as well.
It's a pretty bottle too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of excited for this.
Yep, so we're going to use a little red wine vinegar here. And you're going to want Dijon, correct? For this?
Yep. So we're gonna make like basically a honey mustard. A honey mustard vinaigrette. You can use ground mustard too. That's always tasty. There we go.
All right.
So vinegar, I'm going to use about a third of a cup. Which is going to be plenty. If there's some left over, you can always just store it in the fridge.
Absolutely, you can make a decent amount.
We're getting good stuff.
Oh, it smells great.
I know. I'm going to be honest. I normally get the plastic bottle.
Mm-hmm.
This is like $1, but this was $3.79.
Has
Totally
a really
worth
nice
it.
nice smell to it.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, way different. Yeah, way
first
different.
Easter eggs. It's almost I mean, you can smell the wine in it. You can almost smell the sweetness. I mean, it's got grapes on the bottle.
Mm-hmm. But totally make a dressing like this. You could make a big batch and store it in a salad dressing bottle and throw it in the fridge, and it'll last you a while.
Yeah.
He usually makes dressing like to order. So whatever we're going to use it for, he'll make a little batch of it whenever we're going to cook. But you could certainly make a big batch and store it in the fridge.
Add a little olive oil. A decent amount of olive oil.
Yeah.
I'd say add about
At least
a
quarter
quarter
cup.
of a cup.
Yeah, about a
Give or take.
quarter cup of.
Again, it's not going to go bad. That's the beauty of it. So
Mhm.
I have some left over, and I make this to taste. I'm gonna add a little salt and pepper. And let me get my garlic.
We have a couple minutes left on these squash too. They
Garlic powder.
look like. Oh my gosh! Did you smell that?
Smells good.
It actually smells like the holidays.
It does.
It smells like the holidays with that cinnamon.
Add a little honey,
A little honey, a little sweetness in there.
then a little Dijon. Excuse me.
We are we are a home that has a lot of mustard.
I love
We are a
mustard.
mustard home here. We don't like mayo, but we like mustard. And when we first started dating, and I saw his fridge, I was like, why does he have so many different types of
I
mustard?
have everyone. I always have yellow, like the classic yellow.
That's
Always
mustard I
have-
don't like, actually.
Always have a Dijon on hand. I love a nice
Dijon's
Dijon.
good. Stone ground.
Stone ground, because you need that whole grain mustard.
Mhm.
Used in a lot of recipes. It also
Honey
just tastes
mustard.
well. Honey mustard's good to have on hand. We found that sweet and spicy mustard.
There's a sweet and spicy mustard from Aldi. Yeah, that's really good. Didn't we have like a wasabi type one or something too?
Horseradish.
Oh, the horseradish one that's really yummy.
Really awesome.
We have a lot of mustard in this house. Isn't it the best? The dogs, like, they just kind of pop in whenever
Yeah, there you go.
they feel like it.
Horseradish mustard.
Great, that one's great
That
on a
one's wonderful.
sandwich.
It's almost like it's the closest thing to stadium mustard. So anyone that has ever been to a ball game in their life, this is delicious. Closest to stadium mustard. And this one, sweet and hot mustard.
Mm.
It's sweet and hot. So it's
Yeah,
got
it's
a little
really
bit of
good.
sweetness, but a nice bit of bite at the end. Really, really good.
Yeah, so we have a lot of mustard in the house. But generally when he's making like a salad dressing, he'll use the Dijon for that. But a lot of these other ones are great for like dipping with like chicken tenders, or if you're gonna make like a sandwich. Those are really good. Okay, so he already put in some red wine vinegar, some olive oil, some Dijon mustard, a little bit of honey and salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder.
Mhm.
And just give it a good stir. Right? That's our squash beeping here, so let's check on that.
So I'm trying to get the consistency, and you can kind of see the color starting to get a little bit darker, and it's a little bit thicker in its consistency. I could probably whip this with a whisk, but I feel like that's a little overkill. It's going to end up separating anyway.
Yeah. So, you can't see the squash right now, so all I'm going to do, be very careful, this is super hot.
Just kidding. Squash!
There's the squash. I don't think it's ready just yet. We're going to give it a good toss, stir it up a little bit.
No, it's not. And you can tell you want it to have a little bit of char. So there's a couple little guys over here that have a nice little bit of char. And those are
Oh
hot.
my gosh, they're going to be so hot. How many times do I have to tell him, don't try to eat that right now?
Oh, really? Oh. So we're going to flip it over.
Yeah, give him a nice toss.
That was totally
So what
worth
do you
burning my
think?
mouth.
Do you think we should add a bean into here, or do you think we should just stick with the squash and the cheese?
We could. I don't know if we need it.
I don't know if we need it either.
I feel like it might be
A little too much?
so hearty.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep it with just the squash since we did the two different types of squash.
Yeah.
That
I've done
recipe-
the one.
Yeah, that recipe that I read last night had just butternut squash and chickpeas. So since we have the two different kind here, we're gonna leave this. But this is something you could absolutely make with whatever you choose, really.
Yeah. I mean, the beans are in a can, so they're not going to go bad.
Yeah.
Squash.
Squash will. So we want to get those. We want to use those up.
Watch this up. Coming in hot.
Okay. So I'm gonna set the timer on here for like another. What do you think?
Probably 10.
About 10 minutes or so. Yeah. So they've cooked for about 15 so far.
Just.
Yeah. Just give me one sec. Set
One.
that.
Good.
That is perfect.
Awesome.
Oh, that's perfect. It's gonna be really, really good.
It's got a nice little bit of a bite to it.
Yeah, a little bit of that acidic taste, but it's a little sweet, a little grindy. Perfect. Yeah. We might end up using a good amount of that too. So. All right. So really, all we have left is to cook that couscous. I think what I might do is actually, I'm going to make the couscous now and give it a little bit of time to cool down.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we don't want to put it hot.
Yeah, we don't
It'll
want
melt down the
everything to
tail.
kind of be too hot when we put it in. So we'll make the couscous.
I'll get my mustards out of here.
We have our salad dressing made. We have our kale cut up. We have our red onions pickling in the fridge. So we're just going to kind of clean up a little bit here to make this easier. need that. So let me wash this out. So we were talking about this. I think we mentioned it before. Oh, dog! There's our rigatoni girl. That's Riggy. Best girl ever.
Oh, she likes this.
She is already very used to the camera because she was featured in a dodo video.
She's a big girl.
She's our big girl, but she has had a lot. She's had a hard life, but now she's got a great life. We've mentioned it before, but we had we talked a little bit about her adoption story before, and the dodo featured her story about 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago or a year ago?
No, 2 years ago. It'll be 3 years this April.
Oh yeah, wow. So almost, yeah. So it's been a while. But anyway, we gave you a little background about her story before, but she had a sad life. She was found tied up to a pole, chained up to a pole in North Carolina, and she was heartworm positive. Her teeth, she barely has any teeth. They're all very worn down from trying to chew off the chain. She was found pregnant, and the shelter there, a hill shelter there, was going to put her down before she even had puppies. But a lovely rescue that we are affiliated with up here, where we are, called SNAR, rescued her. They took her out of that situation, and they brought her up here. They let her have her 10 puppies, and they adopted them all out. But she is just an angel on earth, the sweetest little girl ever. She's very grateful for her life, and we're grateful for her too. She's wonderful.
Kiwi wants to know why we have 3 dogs and no cats.
Well, you know what? Actually, we're a little bit allergic to cats. If you recall, Peter got cat scratch fever when the guys found the kittens in their yard, and we nursed them back to health before we gave them away to some friends.
We almost kept that cat though.
And yeah, I was just gonna say, we found a cat. That was the same time, right before we got Riggy, actually.
The only reason we didn't keep that cat
was because we were getting Riggy and bringing her home.
No, it's because we were watching
we were gonna watch Mookie.
We were watching Mookie that weekend.
That's right. So we were gonna dog sit my brother's dog Mookie, and we didn't know really what his situation was with cats. We didn't know if he liked them.
And it was his first time staying
with us, yeah. And so we decided one day to take this cat off the street that Jimmy found in a thunderstorm.
In a thunderstorm, I was walking the dogs, and it was curled into not even a hole, it was a little
drainage ditch or something.
Right by the sidewalk, and Meatball noticed it.
Yeah.
Was kind of nosing towards it. So I brought the dogs home. Told Sally I found a cat. I'm going back for it.
This was right before work, by the way. Before we were leaving for work.
Had 20 minutes to get to school, but I was like, I'll just be late. I'll call in. And drove around, got a towel, and grabbed this cat. Somebody drove by, asked them if they were missing a cat. They didn't seem to know, and we had that cat for 2 days.
Yeah, we kept it here. We got some cat toys, some food. We had a small crate, a dog crate, so we kept it down in our basement, which is finished, and it was warm down there, and we cleaned her up and put her in there, and
she was super chill. And then we let her out. She was so sweet.
She was so sweet. We would have kept her, but really every time I was with her, I started getting a little teary-eyed and a little bit allergic, so.
She was sweet. But I think we had that cat for 48 hours. When we had to drop it off at the shelter, we were both sobbing.
I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. But there is a really good ending to this story because one of my wonderful coworkers who had at the time recently lost her cat of many, many years, of 20 some odd years, I told her the story, and she said, "Is that cat still available at the shelter?" And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm going to find out for you. They're going to put it on they usually, when you bring a stray animal in, they put it on a 10-day hold in case that family." We did. We brought it to a no-kill. They'll hold it for 10 days to ensure that if the family lost it or something, they had time to find it. And if they don't within the 10 days, then they put it up for adoption. So that's what ended up happening.
We actually had a couple people who wanted cat. Somebody from work.
Yeah, but she ended up taking the cat, and I know where it is now, and I get updates about her, and she's wonderful and healthy and in a fabulous home. So the moral of the story was that it was a good one.
Yeah.
Or the end of the story was a good one.
So Judy said she couldn't imagine being allergic to cats. So I think you have cats.
They're wonderful too. And by the way, my parents, they have four dogs and a cat that just wandered into their house.
And her dad is very allergic to both dogs and cats.
But their house is a zoo. Okay. Now getting back to the couscous. So since this is just like a regular quick cook one, I'm just going to be putting. You can make this with broth if you have it, but I'm just going to use water. You could do it with water or broth. So I'm going to make this with 2 cups. So right now, let's see. I'm going to make. It's calling for 1 1/4 cups of water. Here's 1 cup.
Cup of kiwi, you're allergic to milk? You eat a lot of dairy. That's got to be brutal on you.
Actually, I'm just doubling up this recipe because I'm going to end up making 2 cups of the couscous.
Cup of kiwi, what do you just pop like the... Aren't there like dairy pills that you like pop and then it
You
like...
can take like a lactate. So in this case, since I'm going to be making 2 cups of the couscous, I have 2 1/2 cups of water in here.
Judy said if she had to live without cats, she would simply implode. Kind of feel the same about dogs.
That's how we are with our dogs here. I mean,
So
don't get me wrong, we love the cats too, but
like a cranky boy.
we both grew up with dogs. So here's this is one of our other pups. This is Hogan. This is our old man, our crotchety old man who doesn't care about anything.
I don't let him kiss me for a reason.
Yeah.
He likes to eat some things that he shouldn't. They come out of this end.
He eats some, we won't name them.
Keep it PC.
Okay, so the couscous just calls for some boiling water, so I'm going to let that boil up. And
Just season the water?
I will. Once it's boiled, I'm going to add a little bit of salt in there. And then what you end up doing is you add the couscous in, you give it a stir, and we're going to stir it up with a little butter just to season it up too.
Ooh.
There we go. I just almost fell over the dogs. I was mentioning that before.
You know why? They want to eat.
Oh, it's time for them to eat. That's why they're standing at our feet. What time is it now?
6.
Oh, wow, it's already 6. Okay, no wonder. All right, and our squash actually is about to beat too. So he's going to feed them in the background. I'll take a look at the squash. And if it is done, what will be great is that we'll just kind of let it rest up here for a little bit so that everything is kind of cool once we start assembling the salad or the bowl.
We're not drugging our dogs, by the way. Logan has a
He has
thyroid condition.
hypothyroidism, so he gets a pill with his food. Yes, my mom mentioned that she does have 2 other cats that frequent their house. They're stray cats that they have tried to take in before, but to no avail. So they are cats that just know that they can come to their house. My parents set up a little home for them, a little cat condo outdoors for them that they can stay in when it's wintertime and it's cold, and they leave them food. So their house really is a zoo. And then the other thing with my parents' house, so they have their own domesticated pets that they have in their home, but they always end up having wild animals come into their backyard. Every time. It's like raccoons, it's possums, yes, thank you.
Cinderella.
It's like Cinderella. They know where to go. Okay, so this water is boiling up. I'm going to give it a little bit. It's at like a low boil right now, so I'm just going to give it some more time to do that. He's going to check on the squash.
Nick was saying that goose poo is a delicacy. So Nikki has met Hogan and walked him many times, and he knows that for a little guy, he's got a strong pull. And that one place they used to live in, the Donnie Knuckles place.
Oh yeah,
there were geese everywhere.
His
and
old
Hogan
apartment.
loves to eat them. This is
Those are perfect. That's what you
I
want.
don't even hear it. Sizzling.
Yeah,
It's like
they're
Sizzler.
so pretty.
Remember
too.
Sizzler?
Yeah, I do remember Sizzler.
If you were student of the month, you got a free meal at Sizzler when I was growing up from Roy Brown. I don't know. It's a big deal. I was a student of the month. I got it.
I still had my Student of the Month certificate.
What was Sizzler? Was that like a seafood place?
Yeah, it was a seafood place.
I ate the chicken nuggets. I don't know.
Wasn't it like a seafood and steak place?
I think so. Was it a buffet?
Was it a buffet? I don't remember.
I feel like cup of Kivio now.
I don't remember. I think this is all a little too bright in here. Let me just bring that down just a bit. There we go. So the squash is ready. We're gonna let that cool down. This water is boiling now, so I'm gonna add some salt to it.
Lee Cake is gonna be fostering a dog from Snar.
Oh, really?
That's
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
We love
awesome.
Snar.
That's where we got all our babies
They're the
from.
best.
Amazing. Okay, so I added some salt for some flavor. And then it just tells you to, let's see, because I've never made this brand before. I'm going to stir, cover, remove from heat. Okay, so I'm going to stir in 2 cups of the couscous.
Peter said to move the light back. You can't. It's a cabinet.
Oh, there's a cabinet there. Yeah, sorry. We had a little bit of technical difficulty with our lights, but right now. Actually, you could even try to move the computer just a tad, and that will kind of hide it.
Hide what?
The light.
Light?
Yeah. There you go. That's better. Okay. So this is 1 cup. I'm going to throw that in. And then I'm going to add 1 more. We're making some enough for Babs as well.
I'm going to check on that.
Mm-hmm.
She's been here a little while.
Yeah. Okay. Throw that in. Give it a good stir. Get all of this out of the cup. Give it a good stir. This is very hot. Yum. So this is like really tiny couscous. I know that there's different varieties of it. There's different sizes. It said golden couscous. I know there's Israeli couscous. So it just kind of sucks up the water. Give that a good stir. And then we're going to cover it up. We're going to cover it up, take it off of the heat, and then we're going to let it stand for about 5 minutes while it cooks down.
They're good.
All right, cool.
And
So
just
it's
playing
ready.
with the Halloween decorations.
Awesome. Okay. Give it 1 more stir. Put the lid on top. We're going to set that aside for 5 minutes. And then we can start really assembling what we're going to be eating here. We're going to do a little bit of straightening up. I'll wait and I'll check on the chat.
Cup of Kiwi, did he research Sizzler for us?
Yeah, did anybody find out about Sizzler? No, somebody tell us. Look up Sizzler and see if it was, I feel like it was like a surf and turf place, like a steak and seafood. That makes sense?
That would make sense.
One of our dogs right now, it must have, one of their pieces of food must have fallen behind the garbage can.
No.
He's trying to knock down the garbage can to get to the kibble.
No. Squash.
Oh, a little piece of squash, never mind. Alright, so
Always meatball.
we also have some feta that we're going to be using tonight on the salad. And
Just a little.
it's a big old hunk of feta cheese. I will tell you that the feta cheese in Greece is the best feta cheese that you will ever have. And I know in the States we try to get some, like this is just from Whole Foods, I think. So I don't even
As
know.
big as this container is, I think there's a lot of liquid in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a block. It might not be too big. But This is from Whole Foods brand. I don't know if we've ever actually tried
have
this
not.
feta, but we are big fans of feta. But the feta in Greece is the most delicious that you will ever eat in your life. It's absolutely fantastic.
I feel fancy that we use Whole Foods now. It's only because Amazon delivers it.
That's true.
Otherwise, I don't know. I feel it's like a little too yuppie, a little too expensive for
A
me.
little too sweetie fluty.
Yeah, we like our Aldi.
I'm actually gonna sneak one of these squash to taste these.
They're perfect right now. There is a little bit of sweetness to them. Maybe we could have gotten heavier on the Hungarian paprika.
Oh. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I like the sweetness.
Yeah.
I do. I like that. Nice touch.
It'll work with contrast to the vinaigrette, and then you're gonna get briny saltiness from the feta.
From the feta, and then we're gonna have that like the acidity from the onions too, and from the salad dressing. So it's gonna have a nice little variety of flavors,
Crunch,
and also some
it's
crunch.
nice dynamic.
And the delicate squash too, it has a little bit of a bite to it because of that skin. So it's really tasty. Okay.
So do you want me to dress the salad, or just plate and then dressing over it?
I think we could dress the whole thing.
Yeah.
Why not? We're gonna be making basil too, so we're gonna end up eating the whole thing. It's not. Who are we kidding?
It's not that much, Gail.
Who are we kidding? Yes. So we're big fans of feta. We love cheese in this house. What other types of cheese do you eat at home? We love feta here. We love goat cheese. We love mutz.
That's mozzarella cheese.
Yeah.
But in
To
Jersey,
American
you just call it
Italians, we call it mutz. What other cheese do we like? We like all cheeses. Oh, we love that cheddar,
Prairie Breeze.
the Prairie Breeze cheddar.
So it's like almost like a white cheddar,
Salty. Oh,
but
it's so
salty. It has like a brininess, and it has a texture to it. It has
Yeah.
almost like a grainy texture to it. I don't want to call it salt, like sandy, but it has a texture.
Yeah, it has
to
like a grittiness to it. It's really
yeah,
tasty.
but it's wonderful.
Gouda's a good one. Munster's a good one. We like all sorts of
Gouda.
cheese.
So remember we saw there was a deli named Gouda Deli.
Yeah,
But she came up with a better
yeah.
name
So
for it.
there's in our where we are, there is a deli that recently opened up, and it's called Gouda Deli. And I turned to him one day as we were driving by it, and I said, I think that they missed an opportunity there because it really should be it's a Gouda Deli.
Get it?
Get it?
It's a good deli,
It's
but
a
it's
good
a
deli.
Gouda
Gouda
Deli.
Yeah, but anyway, so
Should be here all night.
yeah, Saturday night special, but actually it's Friday. We like to joke that I'm the funnier one out of the two of us.
And I've been telling dad jokes my whole life, so until 6 months ago, I was just extremely cheesy. But now, it's completely legal for me.
Yeah. So we like to joke that I'm the funnier one. So when we first started dating, he used to say that I had
She's
the
a headliner. She got
I
the
was a
weekends.
headliner, yeah. So
on
I
like a Tuesday afternoon.
had the
comedy
Saturday
special.
night special at the comedy club. He was the Tuesday night.
We want to go green,
Green,
then our toppings.
toppings,
So
cheese.
we put the couscous over
Yeah.
the kale. It's gonna.
Yeah, this
Well-
couscous is a little bit hot still.
Oh wow! It's so fine.
It's very small.
It's
This
almost-
is a small.
it's almost
small
like-
couscous.
Almost
Looks like
a
farina.
Yeah, like farina,
Like farina
polenta.
or polenta, or even like pastina, which your mom was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, and actually, I'm just gonna add a little bit of butter to this,
Oh yeah.
and I might even add a little bit of salt and pepper as well. I think that we're gonna want to season it up a little bit. You tell me.
Got a nice texture. A little butter.
A little butter, a little salt and pepper, or just butter.
A little butter will be good.
I'm not measuring this. I'm just kind of putting some in. This is the olive oil and sea salt butter.
Throw a touch of salt and pepper in there, because why not?
Yeah, I just think we season everything up with that, as you can tell with our logo. Nice little bit of butter, just to give it a little bit of a taste. We're not going crazy. This is also a little bit like healthier, this butter here, because it's made with olive oil. But yeah, we're ready to start plating. So we're gonna add some of our greens and the couscous. And you could certainly, I think you could absolutely kind of refrigerate all of this and and serve it cold too, or just let it come down to room temperature and serve it that way. But we're hungry and ready to eat, so we're just gonna eat it the way it is and give it a go. I probably could have used just 1 cup of this couscous.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's okay. You know what? We'll eat it, and it's gonna be something I'm sure we could actually probably like snack on. Even throw a little bit of cheese, like Parmesan cheese, in it.
Definitely.
Would you like me to do that now, or?
No, let's eat it plain.
Okay.
Later.
All right. Oh, look at you, so fancy. Okay. We're gonna take out our pickled onions too.
Sally's on baby patrol out there with Babs. I think baby's ready to come in. All right, let's see. Let's plate this. I really have no plans on how I'm plating it, but I love plating. It's probably my favorite thing about cooking. It's just fun because you eat with your eyes. So I try to make it fun and whimsical. I think this has got a nice little flow I got going right now with this. I don't know if you can hear, Hogan is very excited about what's going on out there. Just my mom and the baby. There we go. All right, let's see here. We'll do the pizzas last. Let's get a little feta on there. I'm just going to cut off a nice hunk of feta. We'll try it first while Sally's not watching. Oh, that's pretty good. Uh-oh.
Someone was getting a little restless.
A little restless, a little cranky baby.
Okay. Oh man, does that look good?
I thought it was good too. Want to try that?
Yeah, please. Mmm. Good.
Feta.
What a pretty plate.
Yeah. I was saying when you stepped out that plating might be one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I agree. I usually just throw everything onto the dish, and he makes it look like art.
I feel like it's all the episodes of the Food Network that I watch.
Pretty much. So it looks like a really pretty dish. We're going to add some of the onions on top.
Yeah.
And some of the sunflower seeds.
Yeah, we'll finish with that.
If you have pumpkin seeds or pepitas or something like that, you could use those. Oh man, look at him. Look at this. Twisting them up with his fancy tweezers. What a dish. That looks great. And you already dressed everything, or you're going to add some
The
dressing
salad
on
was
top?
already dressed, so that's actually good to go.
Oh, awesome. And some of these little crunchy sunflower seeds for some texture. What an awesome looking dish. And this is something we just kind of came up with
We've
on
never
a
made
whim.
this
We've
before.
never made this before. We just wanted to use up some of the ingredients that we had lying around, and this looks really yummy.
I'm rather pleased with this. Babs, I think you're going to like this.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to make you a dish for sure. We will take a photo of this and throw it on our Instagram, and we will add a recipe to this as well, and add that too. And we'll put this video, and we'll transfer it over to our YouTube channel. So
That's a winner.
thanks for joining us. Look at this really pretty dish, everyone.
We have it. This is, what are we calling this?
We're calling it the Autumn Harvest Bowl.
Well, that's catchy.
Yeah.
The Autumn Harvest Bowl.
The Autumn Harvest Bowl, and it is vegetarian. So we do like to cook vegetarian every once in a while. We don't eat a whole lot of meat. If we do, it's mostly poultry or fish. So there are nights where we just stick to vegetarian meals. And this is something that you could make very easily, and it will be
Well, man,
tasty
approved.
too. Yeah. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, the baby agrees. He said, whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
All right, everybody, have a fabulous weekend.
Yeah,
Thanks for
enjoy.
joining us. We'll add this to our Instagram a little later in the evening. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Oh, and thanks for getting us to over 50 followers. So this is really
Over
great.
50, and this we
And
made our hours
tonight,
today.
I think we will finally make our hours, and I think we're going to be made affiliates soon. So woohoo! So yay!
Good deal.
Okay, who am I
Last
reading?
thing
What
for the chat.
channel? Whose channel am I reading right now? Yours, Mark, or Peter?
Work singing, I feel like takes off on Fridays.
No, but so I guess maybe Peter's. Let me know, and I'll read the channel.
Any last minute question before we head out?
Okay, I'm rating Peter's channel, everybody. So, again, thanks a lot. I'm going to rate his channel. And have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining us. Hold on. Wait. Okay. All right. You could stop the stream now. Have a great weekend.
Start, stop.